All right, good morning, everybody. We're in August 20-something. It's Saturday, and getting ready to head up to Steve's house for Everly's birthday party. And before I headed up, I kind of wanted to take a little quick video of what I've accomplished so far, but also just so I can talk to Steve and see if he has any different ideas, and I can show him the video while I'm up there and kind of talk with him one-on-one. It makes it a lot nicer. So anyway, all right. So, I've got this little thing put down because I'm going to use it kind of just as a fence line as well, and that's going to be something to discourage the dogs from going out, as long as it holds up, and it may not hold up very long. It's pretty flimsy, but, it gives it a little bit of a better look, I think, and obviously I've got some tightening up to do on it, but anyway, I don't know if you can see it through the video, but this net is on, and it is the net that goes on this, this last wall right here, and it is raised up, obviously, because the net is on there. So I've got the poles, if you can see, going down the line up on top, and I'm using galvanized piping, same thing across over there. So the problem that I'm going to have is I don't really want to connect. I want every wall to be separate, so I can raise it and lower it on its own, because if not, in order to raise all of this up, once the net is on there, I have to do one section at a time. Just go up a little bit, and then move to the next one, and go up, and then move to the next one, and go up. And what I don't want to have to do is like this one right here, we're on the corner, so I don't want to have to go up, go up, and then go up, and then go up, and then run back over here and go up. Probably could be done, but it's something I don't really necessarily want to do. So in order to stop that, I feel like I have to put an extra pole in, right? Because this whole wall up top, that top piece has to be connected. So it's all connected to this wall, right? Which means that this one comes across, and it can't be connected to that. So that means I'm gonna have to put another pole. The other problem that I'm also going to have is that, I'll show you down here, a little easier to show down here. As of right now, I just have the net clipped on, the way it was before, but eventually what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to weave it through the whole thing. That's the way it's done over there on that high one. So anyway, the problem is, you see this, and this net just kind of goes boom at an angle down that way, and the only way for me to fix that problem is just like that pole is in the bottom right there going across, and then those poles are that are going up. You have to have a pole in there in order to take that and just pull it over so it'll stay straight. But it can't be the big poles, and it really can't go around the telescopic part, because it's just too cumbersome, and it'll get cut on these edges, and it's not going to fit around these edges very well. I mean, it will, and it'll even fit around this fat pole, but it's like it doesn't have much slack and movement once you get it on that pole compared to those. So I've got to figure out a way to, you can see I've got another pole started here, so that when basically that pole right there will come over and connect to this pole, so that this pole, can be on its own on that, right? And then I'll have to do the same thing there. I'll have to take a pole, and I'll have to put it back behind a little bit, and then same at each corner there, in order for those ends to connect. And I hope this makes sense what I'm trying to say. And if somebody has a better idea, let me know, because my brain is overworking trying to figure this out the best way possible, and I'm trying to keep in mind the ability to take it down if I need to remove all those poles, if I have to get out of the yard, how's the net gonna work. Like right now, I think I can just, the net's on that one and I can just lower it, right? And I plan on putting a pole just like this one. I plan on putting a pole across the bottom just to give it a little bit of weight when it's raised up, and then hoping that when I do lower it down, it'll just kind of fold almost like blinds, and then I can lower it and lift it, and it'll be okay. But if I have to put a pole in order to fix that, if I have to put a small pole in over here and weave it all through there to keep it straight, that pole might have to stay in the ground or whatever if I'm gonna keep it on here when it's lowered down and when it's not being used. So I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to say. Other than that, what I've gotten done so far, so I actually, the net is at an angle and it's down. It definitely needs to be tightened up at the top, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get up there and I'm going to have to pull as much net as I can, and then probably zip tie it or clamp it down to that top bar so it has way more of a slant, so that when the ball hits it, it'll actually just roll off. Right now, if the ball hits it, it rolls down just a little bit, but then it hits the ground and it'll sit right there in the middle. So it needs to be tighter so that no matter where it hits, it's kind of firm, and that ball will always roll and come back under the net and come back to approximately, come back to approximately boom, hopefully, right down in here somewhere. It's got enough momentum to where it'll come down and, land around in here somewhere so that she can just pick them up and keep going. And I should be able to angle the net so that it should be able to come here, where I want it to. Just it's a matter of tightening it up a little bit more here or there. So anyway, so I put this underneath because what I'm going to end up doing, that robotic mower I have, I'm going to set it up so that it will just stay out here and keep the volleyball area mowed all the time. So it's another reason why I have to get that net up off the ground. That's the reason I put this pole down, and it may be a little too high. I might lower it a little bit once I tighten everything up, and we'll see. But if I can get that net up off the ground consistently, I don't have to worry about that mower coming through and catching the net. So that's where I'm at. If anybody has any thoughts, I think by now it should be pretty clear what I'm trying to do. Sorry, I took a pause for a second to go grab the ball. But, there's my ball. So let's see if I can do this and keep it on film decent. So you can see it's going to need more strength. It's going to have to be a little bit more firm. But you get the gist. You're serving from back here. The ball hits the net, rolls back down, and just keeps coming. This is going to be strengthened up a little bit because I'm going to get some kind of clip or zip tie or something and connect it. I had to put these 3 separate poles in. There's just small poles, right? I had to do it on both ends in order to put this pole in and give it that angled slant. I had to put that in those poles in separately, because if not, it has to be connected to this pole, and then you can't have both nets on there at the same time and have it work correctly, because obviously these have to be at a certain height to hold the net the way that it's supposed to, and this is going to have to go all the way up, to keep from coming over here and hitting this guy's house. So that works, for the moment. And all this bar will be strengthened and straightened out a little bit more, and those poles will be tightened to the other pole and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you get the gist, and that's where I'm at. So if anybody has any ideas, comments, or questions, just let me know. And I'm just trying to move forward and do it. But unfortunately, I get stopped on thinking the process through, because I want to make sure it's right, and I don't want to waste time, money, and all that kind of stuff. Although I waste a lot of time thinking too much. So, and then I waste a lot of money just going out and buying stuff anyway that I've thought about. So anyhow, that's where I'm at. I'm starting to kind of build a little house right here for the garden, using that PEX stuff. You know, it's very bendable and all that kind of stuff. It just had to have more strength, and I had to put poles in the ground to give it support. And I may have to do more of that, and I may end up using that to build trellises. And there, you know, I'm going to probably do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to have a gap in between in here where this walkway is. But this walkway is, I think it's going to become a planted area too. It's going to get filled in with cardboard, wood chips, and all that, and it's going to be separate, but I think I will be able to plant stuff in there, and then also build trellises on both sides. So the stuff that will be inside there will be stuff that will definitely need trellises on either side. So I just don't want to waste space, you know, use as much of it as I can. For now, I've taken all the wood off of this side because I need to cut. I can't get the riding mower in here unless I do this, and it's getting too thick to do it with the push mower. I've, you know, got to do this in that back side right there. So it's cutting the grass is something I'm just gonna have to figure out how to keep up on a little bit better once this side's done, because once this side's done, I'm not gonna want to take all that stuff up. So anyhow, that's where we're at. Getting ready to walk out the door, head to Steve's, and you know, there's mess number 1. There's mess number 2. And there's my evil Frankenstein creation. So anyway, let me know what you think, and I guess we'll see you.